Welcome once again to the vlog. I am your host. So, I've been playing and reviewing Genshin Impact since it first came out about a year ago. This has been my first experience with a gacha style game. I started playing to see what this whole games as a service model is all about, so I may not be the best person to comment. However, I think it's safe to say that this whole anniversary situation is a mess. I haven't paid Mihoyo anything because I still don't understand why I would pay to gamble in a video game. So when Mihoyo announced the anniversary, I wasn't expecting much of anything because they don't typically give out much of anything. Now, other players didn't exactly see it the same way. I expected nothing, I pretty much got nothing, so I wasn't exactly disappointed. I know I'm from a different generation, but when the original Legend of Zelda became 1 year old, the game was a year old. I didn't get a free Super Master Sword or the ability to play as Zelda or anything like that. There was a lot of speculation with Genshin Impact's anniversary. It generated a lot of hype, and people on the message boards and on YouTube were expecting a free 5-star character, a bunch of free gambling tokens, and just a whole bunch of stuff to celebrate that the game is now a year old. Which is totally strange to me, but from what I can gather, based on the comments, such things typically happen when gacha games reach certain milestones. Mihoyo could have gotten ahead of this and tempered expectations. They knew what the expectations were, and they knew what they were going to do, but they didn't do much of anything. And when the rewards leaked and the YouTubers, Twitch streamers, and their fans were warning them that these rewards were bad and that they should rethink things, Mihoyo just ignored all those warning signs. Mihoyo knew, or they should have known, that these rewards were going to be poorly received. So when the rewards dropped, people were upset, which was a surprise to absolutely no one. I think Mihoyo probably could have just ignored it, and the situation wouldn't have gotten out of hand. I think the anger probably would have passed in a couple of days, and people would have just moved on. Instead of doing that, Mihoyo decided to do some of the worst things that they possibly could have done. I understand that Mihoyo is a Chinese-based company, so there may be some cultural differences that could explain their response. Maybe what they did would fly in China, I can't really say, but this heavy-handed response just didn't sit right with their Western fans, especially their American ones. Mihoyo decided that the best course of action was just to shut down all dissent, ban anyone who had a dissenting opinion on their various forums, lock down custom features in the game so people can't say that they're upset, and anything else that they deemed negative. I guess they had the right to do it since this is all their stuff, but it's just really bad customer service when you're dealing with Western customers. Now, nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. Having some sort of dialogue so you can understand your customer's concerns and for you to explain your position is a good way to diffuse a situation. Even if you can't or won't do anything, people at least like to know that their feelings are being heard. Instead, Mihoyo just made people even more angry by shutting them all down. So now people are trying to find other ways to voice their concerns. They're going to their own social media pages, posting videos, quitting, and giving the game negative reviews. Now, I'm aware that a few have been leaving negative reviews of unrelated games, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm not exactly sure of the full extent of the whole thing because I'm not on MySpace or whatever it is the kids use now these days. I have seen some people call what's been happening as review bombing, but I don't think that's entirely an accurate description when it comes to leaving negative reviews specifically on the game Genshin Impact. These are people who have played the game and their reviews are about the poor customer service that they have received. It does appear that some reviews have been deleted from the Play Store and that reviews are being held up on the App Store for some reason. But I think their experiences and their opinions are valid. It's not so much that the rewards are bad, it's that the response by Mihoyo to their customer base was bad. These players are voicing their displeasure about their bad experiences that they have had with the game, and they're not being listened to. What is so silly to me is that this entire situation could have been avoided altogether. Free gambling tokens and giving away a free character costs Mihoyo nothing. By acting this way, it has cost them a lot of money. I'm not entirely sure where they go from here, but hopefully they use it as a learning situation. You can't treat your customers this way. But since this whole situation started, they have decided to give away a couple of supplementary rewards. Well, 4 of them exactly. The first of the 4 are a few gambling tokens and a collider. Without addressing the situation directly, I don't think this will be enough for the players who are angry. If it were me and I was the CEO of Mihoyo, I would acknowledge that they made a mistake. I would acknowledge that there are some cultural differences just by being a Chinese company, point out that your company started out just as a couple of friends who met at school and started making games together. That initially they only made games for their home market of China, and since then it's grown far beyond that. Genshin Impact has been a global hit with players from all over the world, and that they're still learning about what it means to make games for a wider audience. After apologizing to my audience, I would then say that they hear them and that they will be working to try to make it all right, and that there's a whole lot of new stuff on the horizon for Genshin Impact. I know that there's been great criticism about Mihoyo's lack of a roadmap, so I would give players a basic roadmap of what they can expect in the second year of the game. I would provide an update on the Switch version. I'd also say if they're making a native M1 Macintosh version, which I don't see why they wouldn't, just something to signal that they'll be welcoming in new players into the world of Genshin Impact in the coming year. Next, I'd go further and do an even greater reward. Now, gambling tokens cost them absolutely nothing, so I don't see why they wouldn't just give them some more of those. But the big thing that people seem to want was a free 5-star character. So you just might as well give it to them. I'd give people a choice of one of the first 5-star characters that people may have missed. So I'd either give them a choice to get a free Jean, Venti, Diluc, Chi-Chi, or Mona. I understand why Mihoyo wouldn't want to do it, but it's an easy and cheap way to calm people down and hopefully bring some people back. Since you've given some stuff out for free, you might as well announce that you'll do a couple of rerun banners so people can gamble to win some of the characters from the past that they may have missed. This way, you can hopefully recoup anything that they may have lost by just giving something away. Now, doing something like this would probably cost them money in the short term, but it's going to cost them even more money in the long term if they do nothing. Ultimately, the big problem here for Mihoyo is a lack of communication. It's much cheaper for companies to retain customers than it is for them to gain new ones. Right now, they don't have to do a lot of advertising. I'm sure we've all seen ads for games like Raid Shadow Legends, and those kind of ads can get very, very expensive. Quite frankly, I'm the least of their concern since I've yet to spend any money on the game. I just don't get the whole gacha thing or why I'd spend money on it. With a normal casino, I think everyone knows that the house always win, wins, but any illusion of actually winning is gone in a game like this. So Mihoyo could have me or lose me. I don't think they really care. However, there are what they call whales who spend hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands of dollars on this game. Now, losing their whales is something that Mihoyo should be very worried about. And it seems to me that this is who they have angered the most. As a free-to-play player, my response was like, I wasn't really expecting anything. But the response I've seen from some of the whales has been, I've spent thousands on this game, and this is how you treat me? I'm done. Which is a very scary thing if you're depending on those kind of people to make your money. I guess we'll see what they do. Maybe Mihoyo will learn something from this situation. Maybe they won't. More importantly, maybe the whales will learn something from this and stop spending all their money gambling on a video game that's impossible to win. I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's perfectly fine. But we're seeing how the developers really feel about their biggest spenders with this response. So those are just my thoughts and feelings about the subject. Hopefully everything calms down and it all works out. I'm just a guy learning how to make videos on his Apple Macintosh, so there's no reason to take any of this all too seriously. I want to thank you for watching my video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.